Hello, welcome to Tigers Roar. I am Jonathan Poche, joined by the man, the Bud Man, Mr. Buddy Sanji. Buddy, thanks for being here.
Good to see you, JP. You know, don't normally call me off the bench because the J-Man is the basketball aficionado, but great to be here. Lots to talk about, a lot of stuff going on. Good news for those football fans that didn't hear. The NFL's trying to put in place something that don't ever happen, like the Saints.
Right.
LSU basketball, a lot of people going up to Washington for that trip. LSU baseball, a lot to talk about. Gymnastics. Hey, we got a chock full of information and stuff to get to tonight.
Definitely a full plate here on Tigers Roar. You can get a full plate right here at Scoreboards. We're here live at Scoreboards, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We're gonna have a great crowd here tonight. Got boiled seafood, starting to smell good already. Come get your sports. TV's all over the place. It's gonna be a big weekend for sports, as you mentioned. LSU basketball back in the Sweet 16.
Boy, a little deja vu, JP, going over to Jacksonville. John Brady was the coach there. Now he's still in the arena. Darryl Mitchell with about the 28-footer, the first time. Trey Waters, what an incredible scoop shot. I don't want to hear all this BS about he traveled. Give me a break. You're telling me Zion Williamson pushing off, all these other guys getting these calls, and you're going to sit there and say that Trey Waters walked on that play? That's crazy, but it is us against the world with LSU baskets, and I think they like it, JP.
I think you're right, buddy. Talk about the walk. He might have taken 2.5 steps, but look, don't talk to anybody from Louisiana about getting calls late in games. You already mentioned the NFL trying to now change the rules on pass interference calls, defensive and offensive, and also those non-calls. It was a great weekend for Gail Benson, who was really rallying. 31 of 32 NFL owners voted this to pass. Sean Payton on the competition committee, 8-0 there. It was a little bit of a win for the Saints organization and those Saints fans, who I don't think we'll ever get over that Nolan no call.
Hey, real quick, for those Catholics and practicing Catholics on Friday, you know you're not supposed to eat meat. What a great place to come get the incredible seafood. Crawfish like you would not believe, snow crab, shrimp, all of your seafood specials over here. Come all weekend, but if you're abstaining from Lent on Friday, Scoreboard's a great place to come on a Friday night.
That's right. They have specials all week. Closed on Monday, but open Tuesday through Sunday. Got the express lunch going on every day. Something else great to get to eat. I got a lot of tailgate-style food, but as you mentioned, that bowl of seafood, the crawfish, the snow crabs, even the shrimp, delicious.
Here's the other thing about Scoreboards on Friday night. You know I'm a puncher. No, I'm not going to box anybody because I'm not adverse to doing that, but I watch a lot of games, and it's hard to watch games with me because I'll go through 2 or 3 games at a time and back and forth.
Right.
Baseball Friday night at 6 o'clock, basketball at 6:09, and of course gymnastics. I was watching gymnastics. I was watching 3 or 4 things last weekend at the same time, Jonathan.
It was a great weekend for gymnastics. Back in New Orleans at the Smoothie King Center, just over 10,000 fans. Had to be almost 10,000 strong LSU fans. It was like a home meet for those girls. And wow, did they deserve all the praise they got with a furious comeback in the last round. Had to do really well. Their last 3 gymnasts on the floor exercise had to average a 9.9. And wow, Sarah Finnegan, perfect, perfection.
10. And I was judging her, and I gave her a 10, and not everybody agrees with that. But and then McKenna Kelly, who is graduating, even though she could have 1 more year, she's leaving with the ladies that came in. McKenna, of course, had some injuries and redshirted. She also had a 9.9, so the Tigers nipped Florida, come from behind, and I think that certainly for Dee Bro and all the fans, that was a tremendous meet. She's wanted to have it in New Orleans for many, many years. That's your neck of the woods.
That's right.
And, of course, they are hosting a regional coming up here in a couple of weekends in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center.
It's going to be exciting. LSU making their, 35th straight regional? That is unbelievable. You can't appreciate how dominant they have been over the last decades. It's not a short run. 35 straight regionals.
Here's the thing I'm most proud of, and I used to have Dee on the show a lot more, and, you know, you think about a 4-inch balance beam. And to stay on there, but to do what they do, I don't know how you learn how to do all that stuff without busting up and crashing your body all the time. But beam is a supreme event for them now. And then, of course, floor. It's going to be a lot of excitement this year. Instead of the Super Six, they go to the Final Four in gymnastics. They got a new system, so we'll start talking more about that. But LSU hoops, a lot of controversy to start the week with Dickie V coming on local radio. He's awesome, baby, and a lot of people have been burning up his Twitter feed. I got to ask you, JP, did you tweet him anything or you stayed away?
I have not tweeted Dickie V. Look, as a lifetime long fan of Dickie V, grew up idolizing the guy. He's on all the video games. He's a high riser. Yeah. Everybody has a Dickie V impression. I mean, the guy's a legend. But when he got on his high horse and defended his friends and then stuck by it, it was like almost like he was reading his text when he on his tweets when he came on the show with Jordy and T-Bob.
Yeah.
They did a great job. We'll actually have a little piece of that interview for you later on in Tiger's Roar. Got about 7 minutes of it. I'd say it rubbed me the wrong way. Dickie, a lot of respect for the guy. He's been in the business over 40 years, but I mean, just to come on someone's show, talk over them the entire time, not allow the host to ask a question, kind of came off as a jerk.
Well, you know, there's a little trick to the trade, and the producer, all they had to do was turn Dickie V's mic to about a 2, and Jordy's up to about a 9, and you could have heard a little bit better. But it was happening. It was rapid fire. And it is sad, and I think the LSU fan understands a few things, Jonathan. Number one, we are talking about mega millions when we are talking about college athletics, and specifically the big dance of 68 now with the play-in games. And so there's a lot of money that is distributed to a lot of people. But let's be honest. Nowadays, if you're 10, 11, and you're really good and you're going somewhere, I guarantee you a handler or an AAU coach or somebody is talking to you and your mama saying, hey, I want you to wear my shoes. You might go to this university. I mean, it is a deep-rooted problem. And LSU fans know that Will Wade got sloppy and is in a very precarious situation on the wiretap. But why has Dickie V chosen to forget all the sins of his paisano friends, including Rick Pitino, Calipari, who's had 2 programs that have problems, all of the on and on and on, Self at Kansas, Louisville, all of them. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out. Of course, Will Wade expected to testify April 22nd, but will that trial ever come to pass, or will they plea bargain with Kristen Dawkins? It's been a very controversial topic here locally.
And that's the thing about Dickie V, the hypocrisy. I mean, you call out one school, but kind of turn a blind eye to that, where, as you mentioned, I mean, this is muddy, muddy water, college basketball. The players aren't getting paid, so to speak. So, look, there's a lot of money that changes hands anyway. And I think that's what LSU fans really have a problem with, is just the hypocrisy of Dickie V. Really trying to get on his high horse and stick it to LSU, it kind of seems like. And as I mentioned, we will have a little snippet of that interview later on Tiger's Roar. A lot to get to today. We'll also talk some football. I mean, we've already talked about the NFL and the change rules, but LSU football is underway again. Spring practices have started. We'll hear from Coach O and that new offense with Joe Brady.
You know, I want to be so excited. I want the Pointer Sisters back here playing in their Hall of Fame. I'm so excited. But, you know, we have to wait and see. But, Jonathan, if this thing really does play out the way it's being portrayed in spring, with more spreading out, getting rid of the ball quickly, no huddle offense, using your tight ends. Obviously, we know it starts up with the 5 guys blocking up front. They had to max protect a lot last year. But everybody is saying this Joe Brady is meshing. It's a seamless transition with Steve Ensminger. Are you buying, or you want to wait to see the first weekend that this is going to be an offense that is unrecognizable to LSU fans?
You have to be optimistic. Joe Brady, coming from the New Orleans Saints, did a great job implementing this RPO system with one Taysom Hill, the guy who exploded on the scene through the RPO, the run-pass option game. Defenses didn't know how to stop him then. I have to believe with that full offseason with these college players, I mean, you get creative in college. You can let a lot more slide onto the playbook in college than when you're getting paid millions and millions of dollars to execute on Sundays.
Well, I am also excited, and you know you hate to beat up kids and players and positions because they have mamas and daddies and families too. But so I won't mention the guy's name by name, but I just thought last year punt return was so bad, and other parts of special teams with of course Cole Tracy making 25 and 29 obviously was a big part. But I'm excited to see Derek Stingley Jr. returning punts, and boy, everybody is trying to throw a comparison in there. He is the next great DB, and I'm gonna make this prediction now. They will take at least one, maybe two punts to the house this football season.
I heard a very serious comparison. Coach O mentioned Stingley in the same breath as one Reggie Bush.
Yes.
The human joystick from USC. Saints fans know him.
Listen, I may not be wrong, but don't forget now, there could be laundry on the field on one of those punt returns. You hate to have that with it called back. But boy, when he mentioned Reggie Bush, and all of the people around here were saying Patrick Peterson. Peterson was 221 pounds when he was playing cornerback at LSU. This kid's closer to 200. But the light is on, and you know he's not even 18 yet, but you can just see the way he handles himself. It's not just a talent, it's that it factor that we all want to brag about when that kid has it. A pitcher, a quarterback, a wide receiver, a cornerback, a punt returner. That it factor, he's got it, JP.
I've been hearing a lot of stuff coming out of the spring practices about Stingley versus Jamar Chase. The one-on-one matchup between the new freshman cornerback and the outstanding sophomore wide receiver really exploded on the scene last year. We're number one for the LSU Tigers.
That's how you get better. That's how you get better at practice, going up against great receivers. And Jamar Chase, Terrace Marshall, Justin Jefferson, Stephon Sullivan, obviously the rest of the guys. Let's hope they can play pitch and catch a little bit better because that's been a real problem for the last decade, LSU not being able to complement their running game with a passing attack.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire looking to be leading the running back crew. Though Coach O really likes Leonard Fournette. He said he's a great back and do a lot of things. Kind of interesting to get Leonard back in the lineup for a little change of pace.
He missed the first 2 weeks of practice. Don't sleep on Chris Curry. Now, if you remember, they gave some baby comparisons to him and Marshawn Lynch. I don't know if he likes Skittles, but don't forget John Emery and T. Davis are coming in. Look, kudos to Nick Brissett and all those guys and what they did. But I think you're going to have some running backs take it to the house this year that maybe didn't do that last year when they had some gaps.
We'll also hear from Mike Scarborough about recruiting, also the updates from TigerBait.com. Lucky to talk to Mike. Appreciate his time on the show. I know you talk to him often on your show, Buddy Sports Talk, on 9:10 a.m. CBS Sports Radio right here in Baton Rouge. That and a whole lot more here on Tigers Roar. Getting to our first break of the evening. Once again, I am Jonathan Poche, joined with Mr. Buddy Sanjay here at Scoreboards, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, right next to Anton's Fine Jeweler. Full bar, lots of space in the back. Great place to have private parties. Outstanding food, great atmosphere. It's family friendly. You can bring the kids. Not your typical sports bar, but a great place to watch sports. So come on, join us. We're at Scoreboards. This is Tigers Roar. Come right back after this break.
Going golfing. Ooh. Off to golf.
You're picking that up.
Off to the range, honey.
Bye.
Oh, that was close. Glad you got the backup camera installed.
Yep.
You don't need a new car to have new technology. Mike's Audio, conveniently located on Airline Highway near the corner of Bluebonnet.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hi, I'm Jordy Helper for Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market at 12451 Old Jefferson Highway. Chairman's Reserve steaks, their pork, their chicken, their seafood, top of the line. Primo barbecue pits, Icy Tech coolers. They can go anywhere and cater anything for you. Go to 751-7665 to call Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market, where good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood Market.
Desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart. 'Cause misery loves company. 'Cause misery loves company. Cold and hungry like a dog in the street. I get a raw deal every.
And we welcome you back here as we are making a little bit of a substitution. JP, you are multi-talented. By the way, enjoy doing the show today with Jonathan Poche. He is an up-and-coming rising star over here at Pelican Sports TV and Radio. Does a lot of stuff on air, but also all of us who are on the air, both radio and TV, appreciate the work that you do behind the scenes. Marty, Bert, Alan, everybody else. You know, people think you just flip a switch and everything happens perfectly, but it doesn't work that way, and I know you know that as well as anybody.
I certainly appreciate that, but it started catching me between the chains, as you mentioned. Do a lot for the Tiger Shore show, a lot of other shows here at Pelican. Appreciate that. It's always nice to give a notoriety. TK, nice enough to kind of hand me the reins to Tiger Shore. And we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll have Tony Bedford from LSU, the interim head coach. And we'll be right back here on Tiger Shore.
Creel Tree Service is a licensed and insured tree service providing tree and stump removal, topping, trimming, cabling, pruning, and fertilizing. We have free stump removal with takedowns, free estimates, affordable rates, and senior citizens discounts. Call 774-TREE. That's 774-8733. Get your yard ready for the warmer weather. If it deals with a tree, call me, Creel Tree Service, 774-8733. That's 774-TREE.
When my wife and I started Relief Windows, what we were trying to do, what our goal was to give a quality job to a homeowner. Everybody's scared of contractors. We wanted to change the mold of what that is. Not showing up on time, not answering the phone, somebody running with your money. The reason why you should pick Relief Windows to do your renovation of your home, windows, doors, HardiePlank siding, is because of the experience, quality service of our company. Service is everything we have. It's the foundation of our company. We're going to show up on time. We're going to do the job right. Over 60% of our customers is customer referral. We're a local company here in Baton Rouge, built in Baton Rouge, staying in Baton Rouge. Okay. The job's not done until you're happy and we're happy. It's built the old-fashioned way, with a handshake. Here at Relief Windows is honored to be official window, door, and siding company of LSU Athletics, from one winning team to another.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hi folks, Clarence Buggs here. Coach Roger Cador would take the time to tell you how to catch our brand new show, The Roger Cador Show, but as you can see, he's kind of busy right now out at Scoreboards, Baton Rouge's newest sports grill with food that is absolutely amazing. Catch the show 8 o'clock Tuesday nights, 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays and on Pelican Television's YouTube channel as well. You want to come out and have a great time. It's awesome, isn't it, Coach? Mm-hmm. Told you.
The Acord Eye Clinic has moved to a new office, just minutes from the old office at 8280 YMCA Plaza Drive, Building 9. Dr. Shonda Acord and her staff welcome patients of all ages, including children and adults. They have a wide variety of frames and sunglasses, including Maui Jim. The Acord Eye Clinic features modern instruments and state-of-the-art technology, including digital retinal scanning with Optomap, hard-to-fit contact lenses, as well as professional care and service. Open Monday through Friday, 8 till 5. Call for an appointment, 225-767-EYES, and visit the website, visionsource-br.com. The Acord Eye Clinic looks forward to seeing you.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-654-9927, 800-654-9927.
Welcome back to Tigers Roar. Once again, I am Jonathan Poche, lucky to be joined by the Bud man, Buddy Sanji, here on a Wednesday night at Scoreboards. Ready to talk some basketball, Buddy?
It has been so nice to a team that was 2-16 just a few years ago flips it and goes 16-2. A lot of controversy with the wiretap. A lot of people thinking that LSU should do what other schools have done, and that would be all in with their coach and worry about the repercussions after it was over. Auburn did it in football and got away with it. Did anything ever happen with Cam Newton and Auburn that year? They won a national championship. Anything ever happen with that 180,000?
Wait, remember he had to miss that one day of practice, I think? The SEC made him miss one day?
Zion Williamson's family living in a $900,000 house, by the way. That's what they took to get him over to Duke, and that was the thing that's been so controversial. A lot of finger pointing at LSU. What's Dale Brown say? You point your fingers. Three of them are coming back at you.
Right.
But, boy, this is a tough matchup. Believe it or not, I was in Indianapolis 1979, so we're talking about 40 years ago. LSU played Magic Johnson and those guys. Magic was a sophomore. Michigan State's really good. They're big and have a great point guard, Jonathan.
Great point guard and Cassius Winston, a great coach in Tom Izzo. He was in the news a little bit last week, maybe too aggressive for some. In a player's face, Mr. Anthony Henry, a forward for the Spartans. Right now you're seeing the highlights of LSU defeating Maryland in a very close game. Pretty typical of LSU all season. Had at least a 15-point lead in this game. Poor shot selection really allowed the Terps to get back into it. It was a lot closer than probably it should have been.
Well, you know, LSU has historically this year gotten out to big leads and struggle to hold on. They are a good free throw shooting down the stretch, which helps them, but they go 3 and 4 minutes without scoring a bucket, and I'll tell you this, they're not going to be able to do that against Michigan State, to go 3 or 4 minutes without scoring, because State has a very high IQ. By the way, Izzo, all hands on and rough. You know his best friend at Michigan State when he was coaching? Nick Saban. They're old school guys. They believe in the old school mentality of coaching. Some people don't like it. Some people say, hey, that's just the way it is. But this is going to be a great, great matchup. And how clutch is Skylar Mays at the end of games for LSU this year?
I want to talk about the power of belief for a minute. I mean, I don't know if you believe in God or angels or what have you off the court, but this entire team believes they have a guardian angel in Mr. Wade Sims. 44 is everywhere around this team. LSU scores on 44% of their possessions in this big win against Maryland to move on to the Sweet 16. Like I said, I don't know what you believe in, but this team is believing that they have something upstairs looking out for them, and it helps them when it comes down to these close neck and neck, down to the minute, down to the second games. There you see Tremont Waters in a clutch situation, 1.6 left on the clock. All Maryland has is the half-court heave, and LSU can celebrate. Moving on to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It will be in Washington, D.C., 6:09 tip. Duke and Virginia Tech, the nightcap. 4 SEC teams in there: Auburn, Tennessee, Kentucky, LSU. Interesting. You look at the athleticism, I think LSU's 7 or 8 points better.
Right.
You look at the IQ, Michigan State probably 7, 8 points smarter and better. Then you look at the coaches. This is what Tony Benford and the staff of LSU have to do. They have to minimize the impact of Tom Izzo on this game because, let's be honest, he's a first-time Hall of Famer, has been there many, many years, has won multiple championships. And so this will be, from a cerebral standpoint, a big challenge for LSU.
I agree. I believe LSU likes to play above the rim. I mean, you see all the big dunks from Naz Reid, Marlon Taylor. He could fly with the alley-oop lobs. I think they are more athletic, but you brought up a great point. Michigan State, so cerebral, so smart. They can beat you in so many different kind of ways. A lot of set offense, but also can run that read and weave with the best of them. So Tom Izzo definitely has his Spartans firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, you know, they are probably a bigger version of Florida. They have some size with their guards. You know, I think a couple things here, JP. How will these officials call it? If Naz Reid and Kavell Bigby Williams get 2 silly fouls early on, they're going to go down and sit, and that's going to hurt LSU. Even though Emmett Williams and Darius Days are very good off the bench, we know that Javonte Smart, when he makes his mind up to go to the hole, there's not too many people that are going to stop him. I guarantee you they will be well schooled, and Tom Izzo will tell them right now, get in front of Skylar Mays, get in front of Javonte Smart. We're going to get some charges on those guys Friday night. But once again, LSU, will you see zone? This is not something that Michigan State plays a lot of, and yet it's the toughest half-court defense for LSU to go against.
I mean, you make a great point. Tom Izzo's crew likes to run a lot of half-court, man-to-man. LSU, as we mentioned, has the better athletes, but that team defense is something to be feared from Michigan State. They can really lock it down and limit the amount of scoring opportunities. I mean, they're great on the boards. LSU has really prided themselves all season on being one of the best teams in the NCAA about getting offensive rebounds, but we know how disciplined a Tom Izzo team will be. It's going to be tough. They're going to be definitely banging around. The tall trees will be banging down in the paint come Friday.
50-50 balls, loose balls, you know, making sure that you get the right spacing, pick and roll. Once again, you know Michigan State's going to be really well scouted. They're going to know what LSU likes to do. It will be interesting. And they've kind of divvied up these responsibilities. Tony Benford saying this week, Bill Armstrong is the guy that handles the substitutions. Greg Hires a lot of the guy doing the scouting, and Tony being the only assistant having head coaching experience, he got that gig, but you know he's got to be nervous. I mean, JP going up against Tom Izzo, you know, it's a heck of a challenge, and once again, the guys have got to play with poise. You want them excited, but you also want them to play under control a little bit. Trey Waters and Cassius, what a great matchup at point guard.
Cassius Winston, the fabulous, what was Mr. Basketball in Detroit in 2016, a guy that was highly touted across the nation to go to their different schools, but chose Michigan State over Michigan, a guy from Detroit. There you see the matchup. LSU, just over 80 points per game. Michigan State, a little bit slower in pace with 78.5. rebounds per game. As I mentioned, LSU really prided themselves on being able to get big boards with all those big bodies, Naj Reed, Kavale Bigby Williams, Darius Days, and the others. But there you see, for average, Michigan State Spartans, 43.7 rebounds per game. Also with those 18.5 assists per game. That's a big number in college basketball.
Well, Cassius has given the rock off. He scored 19 a game, and he's given it off for 7.5 assists. That's 34 points right there. Look, everybody's excited. I do know quite a few people who are big timers that are flying up to Washington, and everybody is trying to think, as you mentioned with the 4-4 and Wade Sims, if they can lean on his aura again and make it back to the Final Four. You know, JP, LSU men and women have never won a game in the Final Four, much less a national championship. And it starts Friday night against Michigan State. Hey, it's not chopped liver, but John Brady and LSU, as we know, years ago when they made the run in 06, hey, pretty impressive to beat Duke in Texas.
Right. I mean, Duke had so many stars, so many mega stars on that team. J.J. Redick, for one, that comes to my memory because he was like the national darling, the best player in college, shooting from the parking lot. As soon as he walked on the stage, he was ready to shoot. But LSU came away and sent the Blue Devils home early. Look, that Duke team this year is impressive. Zion Williams, the next coming of LeBron James, according to everyone who knows anything. They're going to be tough to beat, but look, got to handle business first. Michigan State, no cupcake, no pushover team.
Well, look, you don't ever want to look ahead, but if Zion and boy, they were lucky. You know, I've always seen this stuff, Jonathan. To win the national championship, you got to get lucky in one of your 6 games.
That's right.
You got to win 6 to win the national championship in baskets, and they got a break. I was watching that game with UCF, coached by a former Duke player, Johnny Dawkins. His kid was doing great things. They're up 4, and they got a breakaway, and lo and behold, you know, it's always easier after the fact. And that's what we do in the media.
Right.
We talk about after the fact.
Monday morning
you
quarterback.
throw the lob,
Right.
and it's 6 if he slams it. I don't know if he took his eye off of it. It was a good play or whatever, but they missed that opportunity. Duke comes back and hits a 3, so the differential is 1 instead of 6. And then, of course, as we know, you get the benefit of the doubt. Duke brings in a lot of viewers and R.J. Barrett with a little nudge on the missed free throw to get the rebound, and then you hated to see that Dawkins missed on the tip end. But that was an incredible game, and I think Coach K felt bad because really UCF deserved that, but you got to finish games, as we know.
I mean, absolutely. I think Coach K felt bad about that. He said in his post-game interview that he was emotional about it. Coach Dawkins, with the son of the team, made such an effort to get to that rebound, had the putback hang up on the rim, just did not fall. I want to go back to that missed free throw to get to the line. Zion gets the call for the and one before he gets to that point, completely runs over the defender. Of course, there was no call on that because he's Zion Williamson playing for Duke.
Well, and he's 6'7", 280, and he doesn't have an ounce of fat on him.
Right.
And we all know that the NBA is seriously looking into changing the one and done. And I truly believe that in the next year or two, Zion Williamson would just go right to the pros, and they'll change the rule and not make you go to college for 1 year. Right. But 6'7", 280, he can make the 3-ball. Now, he's not a great free throw shooter.
Oh, that is one of the ugliest free throw shots.
But talk about powerful. Yeah. Man, he is all that. And, of course, he's so quick. And they have a couple of other great freshmen on that team. So
they sure do.
Look, it's Michigan State. They're going to make LSU play ugly. It's going to be very similar to the 3 games that LSU played against Florida.
That's right.
That, to me, would be the team that would most closely resemble the Gators, except they're bigger and they probably have a little bit more depth. Florida doesn't have that many bigs. Right. These guys have some big size.
Hopefully for LSU, it works out a little bit better than going against Florida. Obviously went to the 2 overtime games and then got bounced early by the Gators in the SEC tournament. We'll let you guys hear from the interim head coach, Coach Tony Benford, talking about what it means for his team to take on the Michigan State Spartans in the 2019 Sweet 16. Here's Coach Tony Benford.
Okay, how's everybody doing? That's great. Yeah, first of all, we're extremely excited to be heading to the Sweet 16. I think these guys have really paid the price to have this opportunity. Starting when they got on campus in June, and then through all our workouts, the summer workouts, the fall workouts, and through the adversity that they've been through. So it just shows you the character of these guys to be in this position. They really earned it, and we're looking forward to playing a great Michigan State team.
Obviously, early on in the tournament, Michigan State had a little bump in the road against Bradley. Is there anything you saw in that game that you can use against them?
Well, that's a good question. First of all, they have a great Hall of Fame coach and one of the greatest coaches of all time, Coach Izzo, and he does a tremendous job. They're as good as anybody in the country with their offense. They're very efficient, and also defensively. The main thing you got to do with them is you got to do a great job in your transition defense. You got to keep them out of transition. They score 30% of their points in transition, and we try to we got to get back and make them play against our set defense. And then offensively, we got to really execute because their defense, they're number 3 in the country in field goal percentage defense, and scoring defense, they're top 20. So we're going to have to do a great job on with our offense and our defense. Our offense got to help our defense. So we're looking forward to challenge. We had a great practice today. We'll go again in the morning, and we'll do a lot of film work, and we'll be prepared on Friday.
How much do you stress total team defense? It looks like the Spartans really spread around their scoring, and everyone's capable.
Well, obviously they have a great player, player of the year in the league, Cassius Winston. He's really talented. He reminds me, when I was at Marquette, you guys, Kemba Walker, who's with the Charlotte Hornets, he reminds me of Kemba, with his ability to score at all 3 levels, to put a lot of pressure on the defense in transition. And then they have really good inside players. They got Tillman, who's very strong in the low post, and Nick Ward and Gomes. They have a really good low post. Then probably the X factor is Matt McQuaid. He's a really good shooter. He's a kid I've known when I was at North Texas. I knew him a long time. I know him. I know his dad, and he's a really good player, great leader for him. So they're just a solid all-around team.
You mentioned Tom. I know it's the teams on the court and they have to perform, but do you relish a challenge like this, going up against a guy that's pretty well respected in the game? Well, I mean, we're not going to win that battle. I'm not going to try that. But anyway, no, coaches, I got much respect for Coach Izzo. Obviously, his success speaks for itself. And, our staff is looking forward to preparing our guys. And it's not going to be us against Coach. We'll just prepare our guys the best we can and, make in-game adjustments, whatever we got to do to just have our guys ready to play.
Tony, how have you guys played more than half your games have been decided by very close margins, a lot of single-digit games, a lot of overtime games. How have you dealt with that this year? I mean, how have you guys adjusted, and can that serve you well in a situation like this in the tournament? Obviously, you've had 2 more close games in the tournament.
Yeah, well, like we have played obviously 11 close games. I think 7 or 8 points, something like that, and 6 overtime games in the league, 7 overall, 6 in league. But what we try to do, I think, is a testament to these guys. I said it earlier: the closeness of these guys, the respect they have for one another, the trust they have in one another, their ability to make plays under pressure. That's rare. That's rare. I've been doing this a long time. You don't see that, with young players. Sometimes some players tend to wilt under pressure. These guys, they just get stronger, and I think we try to prepare them for it. We work on what we call, if you ask them, 6-minute games. We just finished one in practice a minute ago. We work on 6-minute games, and we may put them in a situation where 6 minutes to go, we're 8 or 10 points down, and they got to play it out and make good decisions down the stretch and make plays. You got to have great players to win close games like that, and we got guys that can make plays.
Coach, you get off to a fast start against Yale, you get off to a fast start against Maryland, and then the second half's turn into kind of dogfights. How do you, if you're in that situation against Michigan State Friday, how do you combat that kind of slower second half?
Yeah, guys, college basketball is a game of runs. I mean, you ask Duke. I mean, I think, that's the greatest coach of all time, the greatest player in the game today, and they played a solid UCF team. And I think you look around at the tournament, everybody's playing close games. But I think what we have to do is continue to, like I said, we got to prepare our guys to execute offensively solidly against a really good Michigan State team, and then we got to do a good job defensively. And if we're in that position, again, we just got to make the right plays. We got to get stops defensively. You got to finish those possessions with rebounds. And then you got to go down on the offensive end and grind it out and get good shots. And that's what we got to continue to do.
Matt's kind of had a career that I don't think has lived up to some of the expectations that he probably had, but right now he's playing really well. He's had some big games. How do you have to pay extra attention to guys like seniors that are really coming on strong in these types of situations?
Yeah, Billy. Matt is, he's had some injuries in his career that's kind of held him back a little bit, but he's a really good player. He'll be one of the best defenders that he'll probably guard Trey that Trey's gone against. I saw him defend Carson Edwards. He did a great job against Carson. But so he can make shots. He shoots about 44% from the three-point line, and he just makes big plays for him. So we got to do a great job of knowing where he's at in transition. That's the main thing. Cassius does a great job of pushing the ball and looking for Matt, and he's made big shots for him throughout the season. So we got to do a great job on him.
Brett Martell with AP. Curious if you can recall your initial thoughts when you realized that you were going to become the coaching face of this program, and what's it like now that you've been through the SEC, through the first weekend of this, and it's still going on. You're getting ready for even bigger stage.
Well, all I try to do when I was named interim is just concentrate on the kids. I mean, that's the most important thing is the players, making sure they have a great experience, making sure that not only me but the staff, we prepare these guys to play every game, make sure that they, block out the noise, and I've talked about this before. All we can concentrate on is the moment we're in today to be the best that we can be and go out and perform. And that's what I try to do is just concentrate on the guys. So that's made it easier for me because it's all about their experience.
How much has Tremont's size made him the player that he is? If he was 6'4", he'd be a different style of guy. And how much do you feel that's pushed him to work as hard as he has?
Well, I think you got to contribute that to Tremont's heart and his dad. I mean, you probably can Google some videos when he was in the 7th and 8th grade when his dad put him through some workouts now. I mean, I was talking to Coach Jones, the Yale basketball coach, and Tremont used to go up to their gym and work out all the time when he was in junior high, and I think maybe even younger than that. So he's putting the time, guys, and worked on his game and, his ball skills, his shooting ability, and he's become a great defensive player. I mean, he obviously been co-defensive player of the year, and I think he's become a really good leader for us too. I mean, he's a coach out there on the floor, and so we're just very fortunate to have him. And I know he's looking forward to the matchup against Cassius on Friday.
Tony, when it comes to a zone defense, what is the message to the team in terms of beating it if you are to see one and hopefully not struggle like you did against Maryland?
Well, I went back and looked at the zone. We had some good looks against the zone. We just settled too much. When you attack a zone, you want to play inside, outside. In a 3-2, that middle was wide open. We got the ball in the knives. He had some good shots, but he missed about three of them inside, and you got to contribute that to their defense. But moving forward, we got to have better ball movement. Okay, we have some set plays that we can run, but you got to make shots. At the end of the day, you got to make some shots. If we had made a couple of threes early, they would have gotten away from that zone. But we worked on that. We'll work on our execution, and we'll be prepared if we play against another zone if Michigan State presents one.
How would you describe Greg Heyer's strengths and Coach Armstrong's strengths and your own strengths? What do you feel like you guys collectively can do together?
Well, you said Coach Heyer? Coach Heyer is one of the best young coaches out there. I think he does a great job with his preparation. Like he has this scout. I think we were texting last night at 2 a.m. Different things that we were looking at. I was watching film, he's watching film, but he's a basketball junkie. He does a great job of taking an opponent and breaking them down. Each player's weaknesses on what we got to do to stop those players. Offensively, what we need to run to probably be effective, and defensively, what we got to do as far as guarding ball screens, as far as defending the post. Do we want to trap the post? Do we want to play one-on-one in the post? So I think he does a great job of that. And then he's very fiery. Greg does. He's fire. He does a great job bringing a lot of energy every day. And I think we play off each other. He probably a little bit more fiery than I am at times. And then Bill Armstrong is probably in between both of us. Bill's probably the guy that he's a more calmer guy between the three of us.
Obviously, you guys have a pretty set rotation, but I'm slightly curious. Marshall Graves played some good minutes for you guys late in the season and has not played yet in the postseason. I was just wondering, was there a role you'd like to see him play if you could, or you don't want to mess with the rotation?
Well, I think we thought about I'll leave the substitution up to Coach Armstrong. He even did that when Coach Wade was here. He kind of handles our substitution. for us. And Marshall, we thought about putting him in the other night, against that zone, because we know he can make. He's not bashful. He'll put it up and he can make shots. He's one of our better shooters. So, I told him to be ready. Marshall, you may have to go in and make some shots for us and make some plays for us. So it's a possibility. He could play. So, but he's done a great job. Nothing he hadn't done. The other guys have played pretty well.
Speaking of that zone, you struggled against Maryland, and it's been kind of a point of a problem for you guys all season. Is that something y'all worked on this week, considering the teams you're going up against?
Yeah. We just worked on. We'll work against the zone. You never know. They hadn't ran a lot of possessions to the zone. Coach Izzo's always been a kind of a pack line man-to-man defensive team. But we'll be prepared for whatever that we face this weekend.
That was interim head coach Tony Benford of the LSU Tigers. Look, he knows he has a tall task ahead of him. Don't think the experience, the moment is too big for him now, but wait till he gets under the bright lights of the Sweet 16, our nation's capital. I mean, it's a big deal going against Michigan State for an interim head coach. What do you think about Tony Benford, the job he's done so far?
Well, I think it's good that he's had 3 games to get acclimated. Obviously, it hit everybody like a 2x4, and you didn't know where it was coming when he had to do it quickly with the final game, and that was at home. And then the SEC, and then, of course, the couple games against Yale and then obviously against Maryland. I think they all know their roles. I think everybody is putting their egos aside. And Coach Banks, as well as anybody, knows that when you have an interim coach, you got to throw the egos out the way. This is not about me or you. This is about us.
Right.
And you hope that, but boy, Izzo's going to have every little scouting nook and cranny. Watch what I tell you. They're going to move in front of Skylar Mays and Javonte Smart and try to drive the charge. Naz Reid puts the ball on the floor sometimes. They'll know about that.
Right.
And, of course, you would imagine they'd trap Naz. They're going to also certainly know where Trey Waters is every possession.
Tom Izzo, one of the best in the business, a lot of a different style. Not just a little bit, but a lot of a different style than many other coaches today. I mean, these young guys nowadays, they don't really know how to handle the constructive criticism. But Coach Izzo, he'll get right in your face. You see it right here. This was a game against Bradley. Michigan State ended up winning the game a score of about 10 points, a 10-point deficit. I believe that score was 76-65 against Bradley. I mean, he knew his team probably had the game in hand, but right there, Aaron Henry, obviously not hustling enough for Tom Izzo, but it wasn't an isolated incident. I mean, here you see some more footage of Tom Izzo really jumping into his players, demanding the best of them at all times.
It's for an old school guy, this is the way they used to coach. They really don't coach this way anymore. I'll never forget Mike Bugar used to be a football coach, and they would let us go out to practice. And one of the TV people filmed him grabbing a helmet and dragging a guy about 3 or 4 yards. And so, of course, we got cut out of practice. But there's a fine line on doing it the right way. And I thought that he needed to take his blood pressure pill that particular night. I thought that he was a little on edge. I'm not sure what the guy did, but he is a perfectionist. He is a Nick Saban disciple and close friend. But as we know, one of these days, somebody might just lose it and grab him by the throat, and then it could be a Donnybrook. But look, no repercussions for that, and certainly Michigan State's had their own form of baggage in the last couple of years. We're not going to get into that, but they've had a lot of controversy over there as a university and as an athletic program.
Coach Izzo, definitely an intense man. I've heard a lot of speculation this past week about, he doesn't know where the kid's background is or what that kid's thinking at the time. And you make a great point. It only takes one instance for the kid to react the wrong way, then he gets painted as a thug, as a brawler, whatever. It won't be on Izzo. That's an older school way of coaching. Look, young kids today don't like criticism. They don't like it to get yelled at. They yelled at, they kind of shut down. But I believe Coach Tom Izzo knows every one of his players better than the media, knows their situation, knows their parents. He recruited these kids. And obviously it worked out for Mr. Aaron Henry. He wasn't too shook up about it. Coach Izzo said after the game against Minnesota, Henry played the best defense. It was because of him shutting down their best scorer that Michigan State was able to handle that team by 20 points.
Some coaches have been led to the door and said bye-bye when you put your hands on a kid. Obviously, they know Coach Izzo. He knows his team. He knows what buttons to push. And I think Coach Banks, once again, with Southern, did a great job. You got to know what button to push on every kid that you have. And I'm talking about your own children,
Right.
but I'm also talking about your players. And that might be what Henry needed.
Right.
But I can tell you this. Dale Brown could jump on Shaq because his stepdaddy, Philip Harrison,
Right.
definitely showed him that's the way to. But Chris Jackson, a.k.a. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf,
Thank you.
You very tender with him. You got to know who you can do it with, and if you do it with the wrong person, there could be repercussions.
LSU Tigers, Michigan State Spartans, they'll square off in the Sweet 16 on Friday, 6 o'clock, Capital One Arena in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. I know I'll be tuned into CBS. I think Nance has the call with Hafferty and Grant Hill, so it'll be entertaining to say the least. Hopefully LSU can focus in, narrow the focus, as Coach Wade would like to say, and handle business. We're here at Scoreboards. Once again, I am Jonathan Poche. That's Buddy Sanji here at Scoreboards, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Great atmosphere. We have Tigers Roar going on now. We'll have overtime with Coach, the AD, Roman Banks, Southern University, right on after us. Filming after us, I should say. They'll air at 7 o'clock. This show will air at 8 o'clock. We're here at Scoreboards. Lots of great food. Sports on all over the place. NIT tournament, I believe, right now is showing around us, and some gymnastics highlights to my right. It's all going on right here at Scoreboards. Come back and join us after this break.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Oh, great party.
Oh, thanks for coming, guys.
Better get that car warmed up.
I'm on it.
I don't miss those days.
Yeah, we just had a remote start installed.
Oh, us too.
Nice.
It's gonna be nice and toasty.
Why don't we have one of those?
We're fine. Okay, I can't feel my fingers.
I bet everyone else can.
You don't need a new car to have new technology. Mike's Audio, conveniently located on Airline Highway near the corner of Bluebonnet.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Welcome back to Scoreboards. Tigers roar. Jonathan Poche here along with Mr. Buddy Sanji. Lucky to be joined by Mike Scarborough from TigerBait.com. Mike, how are you this evening?
Hey, glad to be with you guys.
Mike, appreciate you spending some time with us here on Tigers Roar. Ready to hear about some recruits. I know you had Pro Day just last weekend at LSU. That was a big to-do. We want to talk some recruiting. What's the latest? What's the scuttlebutt on the 2020 guys?
Well, look, you know, they keep bringing in an impressive group of prospects. Saturday was no different. Had a lot of top recruits. Even though it wasn't technically billed as a junior day, it was like one. Had a big crawfish bowl afterwards. A lot of recruits that were there had fantastic visits. The offensive players that continue to go to these scrimmages like what they're seeing from the new LSU offense. They get a commitment from Damon Clowney from Baltimore, Maryland, St. Francis Academy. Of course, he's the cousin of Jadeveon Clowney, the former All-American in South Carolina. And, you know, he's another edge rusher, very athletic kid. It's 6'4", 220, 225. And he's a very, very good basketball player. Competes AAU basketball during the summer, so you know he has great footwork. And, you know, we put out his commitment story and his huddle tape, and it's got a lot of people excited. He's a high 4-star on the national average, and so you know, look, they're loading up on the ends and outside linebacker types. Need some interior linemen, defense, and offensive linemen.
I wonder if they put the tape in. I'll still never believe this. Josh Dorosic was a guy that was a really hard-working player, but he had to block Jadeveon Clowney. Mike, you remember the atmosphere in that game when LSU beat South Carolina. I wonder if they put the tape in there and showed what Tiger Stadium can be at its apex. But look, we all know defense is where Aranda and Coach O love to concentrate, Mike, but let's be honest. Let's get to it. They've got to get 3 or 4 stellar D linemen in this class. Give us an update, and specifically the latest on Jaquilin Roy from U-High.
Well, I do think that, you know, initially when he decommitted from LSU, it looked bleak for LSU. You know, getting a little bit of smattering of bits and pieces here and there that maybe it's you know, the door might be open a little bit, but, you know, look, he went to Florida. He's going all over the place. Texas A&M, Bradley Del Pivato's on him hard. You know, but, you know, between him, Jacoby and Guillory at Alexandria, you got Jalen Lee at Live Oak, you know, and Bernard Wright from Dallas Carter, who's, you know, a lot of people think is a lean LSU. It's 6'3", 295. But then you got Oklahoma and a bunch of other schools in there. But I just think that with the way things have gone with defensive linemen in the state of Louisiana and it being such a neat position, and it's I'm sounding like a broken record but you really got to plant the flag and you know I named 3 with offers. You don't want to go 1 for 3 with those 3, whether it's Roy, Jacoby and Guillory, or Jalen Lee.
Once again, Mike does a great job. By the way, you can check out Tiger Bait. $1 for a whole month. That's right. Come on, we got 4 quarters in your pocket. Give it a try. And obviously, Mike, Elias Ricks, there were some rumors that he might be waffling, and then they did lose a commitment from Darren Turner, the wide receiver from the Memphis area. Talk about those 2 players and How many wide receivers and how many corners do you think they want to take in 2020?
Yeah, I think Elias Ricks said that he's fine. Losing Darren Turner is no big deal. Athletes are not a problem for LSU. And you've got some really good ones here. Coy Moore, got Butte committed already. Got Ja'Kai Douglas out there, although some work to be done. But you've got other receivers out there out of state that are also interested in LSU. I think 4 wide receivers. I think that, more of a variety of your 5'10" to 6' type guys, inside receivers. You've got a bunch of guys in the program now with some height. Get some more of those shorter receivers that are your yard after the catch type of guys.
Mike, we talk about this all the time, but you got to build a foundation of the house with on the ground level. If you could, how many big uglies on the offensive and defensive line do you think they want to take? And when's LSU going to get them a 5-star at left tackle?
Yeah, I think, a lot of these defensive ends that we're talking about are outside linebackers, but I think you need 3 or 4 true defensive linemen. You're 6'2" to 6'3" to 6'5", 280-pound and over 300-pound guys. So, like the guys I mentioned earlier, but this class also needs. Look, you got Cortland Ford already. You got
Cameron Jackson.
Yeah, Cameron Jackson, who I think is an offensive lineman, and then from there you've got to get a bunch of tackles in this class. And Brady Ward will be in this weekend. Of course, his dad Brian signed with LSU back in '91. He's a legacy. Nick Saban offered him 3 weeks ago. Oklahoma wants him bad. And, you look at some of the lists of the names that are out there and who LSU can actually get when they say they need tackles. I think Miller Meriwether Lewis, who I think is an LSU lean, I think he's probably a guard. You got the Doomerville kid at St. Thomas Aquinas, another offensive tackle, but they're going to be battling Bama and Clemson, Oklahoma for him. You got a kid Jeffers out in Scottsdale, Arizona. Another kid out in Florida, Cesar Reyes from Tampa. But they probably need four guys that are actually tackles in this class. And so which of those guys can they actually get? And I think at some point they need to not only get guys that they think are can be players in year 2, but maybe they need to have some guys that are players in year 3. And I think that's where Brady Ward comes in. I'm not going to say there's some aggravation setting in over there, but when Alabama's offered him and Oklahoma's offered him, and those offers are committable, and LSU hasn't offered yet, and basically saying we need you to come to camp, I wonder how long that's going to play.
Mike Scarborough from TigerBait.com joining us via the telephone here on Tigers Roar. Mike, want to talk about some spring practice. Coach O said this is the offense he wants to see in front of him. Talk a little about Joe Brady and what he's done to influence this offensive scheme with Coach Ensminger for the Tigers.
No, I think the excitement is legit. I mean, the players in the program, the recruits that go to practice and see it, the wide receivers are loving what they're doing, and all new routes and nothing carried over from last year. I think there's a big reason to be excited, and I'm I think obviously spring games stuff's held back, but I'm guessing we still are going to get a good sampling of it in the spring game because they've got to run it. So I'm real anxious to see it beyond just the 15 or 20 minutes we get at practice.
Yeah, they only serve vanilla, JP and Mike, at LSU in the spring game, but it will be really interesting. Of course, the big test for that offense will be the second week when they travel to Texas. Mike?
But even though they keep it vanilla, you still got to run some plays.
Hey, I got this question and I never had a chance to ask you about it, but people want to know, with Miles Brennan gaining some good weight, How does he factor this year? And with Brady doing so much RPO, like you mentioned with Taysom Hill, how much does Peter Parrish come in and maybe get 3 or 4 plays? Or how do you think they run the RPO with the quarterback going into this season?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. How quickly does Peter Parrish hit the ground running? Yeah, we're hearing real positive things about Miles Brennan, 207 pounds, and but you know, we still having a number 2 quarterback is still the same question because we haven't seen it. And is there a possibility because of this new offense, which is very similar to what Peter Parrish ran in high school, is he necessarily a distant third behind Miles Brennan if he comes in and, you know, you're talking about a kid who's won state championships, and I think there could be some competition there.
And Joe Burrow, guys, has said, this is the offense I've been running. This is closer to what Ohio State's running. This is what everybody's been asking for. I think you better take your blood pressure medicine and your heart medicine because there's going to be a different offense in Tiger Stadium this year. Obviously, Mike, we know that they make their living on defense and special teams will be better, but I definitely want to see LSU have an offense that is not typical I formation that is so recognizable throughout the country.
Yeah, and you brought up some special teams. Is that going to be improved? Is there going to be a punt returner?
Oh, yeah, Derek Stingley Jr.
Yeah. Well, you know, look, there's been freshmen that we pointed to like that in the past. And, you know, and it's like, you know, because I thought Jamar Chase could have been that guy as well. And, you know, a lot of coaches are not willing to give true freshmen that assignment.
Right. Well, Mike, we certainly appreciate the time that you spent with us here on Tigers Roar. Before we let you go, tell everybody what's going on at TigerBait.com and how they can hop on board if they have not done so already.
Yeah, that's it. Just go to Tiger Bait. It takes you less than 2 minutes to get registered and signed up. $1, we give you the site for a month. If you're an LSU fan, we would absolutely love to have you. And TigerBait.com. Check us out.
Thank you, Mike. Talk what you're doing the weekend, my man. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
A lot of pictures, a lot of tape from practice, all of that stuff cut up. And you know, JP, with recruiting, it's 24/7. These kids give a verbal commitment. They go on another trip. Then they say, well, I don't know if I'm going to stick with it. Major Burns, a big decommitment from A&M because he is close with Jaquilin Roy, Joe Williams, and others. But as we know with the 2 signing periods, mid-December and then first Wednesday in February, it's a lot to cover. He does a great job for it.
Jonathan Poche here with Buddy Sanji on Tigers Roar here at Scoreboards, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Got to get to a quick break. We'll come back. We'll hear from Coach O. We'll hear right from the horse's mouth what this offense will look like for the LSU Tigers. We'll hear from Coach O right after this break here on Tigers Roar.
We've been fighting the war on drugs for a long time. We answer the phone 24/7, 365 days a year. On a busy night, we answer hundreds of calls. This war on drugs needs our intervention.
Since 2014, Addiction Hope and Helpline has helped people struggling with drugs and alcohol.
When the phone rings, we help people when they need it the most. When we get a caller into treatment, it feels right. It feels good. It's a blessing.
If you're struggling, drinking, using, and need to get clean, don't suffer alone in silence. Call Addiction Hope and Helpline.
Our people understand, and many are also in recovery. Call for support and strength. You can call for someone who can't or isn't willing. It's an act of love. Together we can help you beat this thing and erase addiction from your vocabulary once and for all.
Call 800-383-8177, 800-383-8177.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
The Acord Eye Clinic has moved to a new office, just minutes from the old office at 8280 YMCA Plaza Drive, Building 9. Dr. Shonda Acord and her staff welcome patients of all ages, including children and adults. They have a wide variety of frames and sunglasses, including Maui Jim. The Acord Eye Clinic features modern instruments and state-of-the-art technology, including digital retinal scanning with Optomap, hard-to-fit contact lenses, as well as professional care and service. Open Monday through Friday, 8 till 5. Call for an appointment, 225-767-EYES, and visit the website, visionsource-br.com. The Acord Eye Clinic looks forward to seeing you.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
Welcome back to Tigers Roar. I am Jonathan Poche, joined by Buddy Sanji here at Scoreboards 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Going to take a second to tell you guys about the lunch specials. Tuesdays is chicken fettuccine. Wednesdays is red beans and rice hamburger steak on Thursdays. You also have steak night Thursday night. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, great seafood. Also have some seafood tonight. There you see the menu right there on your screen. Friday lunch special, also the crawfish etouffee, but the crawfish, the snow crab roll, the snow crab legs, and the shrimp, all outstanding. It smells great around here already. Come on, check it out. Scoreboards 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Bring the family. It's a great family atmosphere. TVs all around. Catch all the sports games you would like to see at one time. We're here. Great environment here at Scoreboards. Okay, buddy. Talk some football. I want to let you guys hear from the head coach, Ed Orgeron. He likes the offense he's seen so far from Coach Joe Brady. We'll let you guys hear from him right now. Here is LSU head football coach, Coach Ed Orgeron. That's not Coach O.
Oh, that wasn't Coach O.
That's not Coach O. You just sound like Coach O.
The joke, of course, the joke that's been going around as we get ready for the tape to go was that Coach O was on the wiretap, but they couldn't understand him, so they couldn't implicate LSU.
Right.
But we'll get that tape with Coach O. It's a very opportunistic time for Joe Brady to have his hands and his little feel on this offense. We all know Aranda's one of the best defensive coordinators. We also know that LSU didn't score the last 2 times they had Alabama in Tiger Stadium. So offense has got to kick it up a notch. Joe Burrow in year 2, he knows about the SEC. Obviously, they're going to have more guys that can take it to the house with the running backs. But look, this schedule on paper, JP, is appreciably easier than last year's, but that really doesn't mean anything because you never know if they're as good. We see about rankings. LSU baseball was 1 and 2 in the country, and right now they haven't shown anything close to that.
That's right. While we're waiting on that Coach Ed O video, let's talk a little bit about baseball. Rough outing against McNeese State last night. Tuesday night midweek showdown. LSU gets shut out in a loss, 2-0 McNeese State. Coach Palmineri said after the game, sometimes you just can't press the right buttons with guys, can't wake them up. Didn't have much to say to them after the game. It was like a players-only meeting in right field for about 20 minutes. Couldn't have been a bright conversation.
Had Todd Walker, of course, everybody knows the legendary Todd Walker, had him on the show today. First thing he talks about is patience. They've got to be more patient at the plate. Second thing, and this is a great point, he says, look, if you go deep into the count and not swing at the first pitch, but you see 5 or 6 pitches, then you have a better idea of his repertoire of pitches. And so they've been very impatient. And look, if they play and hit the way they did last night against Mississippi State, State will have the brooms out.
Big trouble in Starkville if they play like they did last night against McNeese State. I think the truck is ready to roll. That Coach Ed Ogeron interview. Here's Coach Ed O from after practice just the other day from LSU Tiger Stadium.
We had a very good scrimmage on Saturday. We started off with a short yardage period. The defense did very well on the short yardage, 3rd down and 2, 3rd down and 1. Then we had a 3rd down period. The offense completed some balls. I thought the passing game was excellent on Saturday. Then we had a 1st down scrimmage. The offense really threw a deep ball well. They moved the ball. I thought Miles Brennan had his best day. Completed passes, running around, working with the second team. So did Joe. Jamar Chase was excellent. So was Justin Jefferson. I just think that those receivers had a good day. Today we had goal line. The defense did very well on goal line. It was a very spirited practice. We had 9-on-7. The offense ran the ball better. We feel that with this team is competition, and sometimes the offense wins, sometimes the defense wins. Just how we want it, and makes us get better. We're over halfway through the spring ball. We've got a lot of things in. We've got a lot of things we want to do. And I think that the combination of Steve Ensminger and Joe Brady have been fantastic. We get better on offense, and it's something we need to see.
Knowing you have Miles available and you're not trying to redshirt him anymore, do you start kind of thinking differently now, or is that more of a fall?
I want to play him. I definitely want to play him. And, you go to the game, Joe's our quarterback. But there's any time that we can play Miles, we feel that this year he's healthy. I think he's a really good quarterback, and we have to get him some experience. I don't think there's going to be a big drop-off when he gets in the game.
It's not a package situation where one guy does something and another guy does.
No, Joe's our quarterback, and we're just gonna be a wait-and-see thing. We'll put Miles in.
Would Miles separate himself maybe in a different way?
Well, he's gained weight. He's worked hard in the 4th quarter. He's ready to play. I mean, there's no doubt that if something happens to Joe, that Miles can go in and be a damn good player for us.
As a defensive guy, I've heard that the offenses look pretty impressive in this kind of stuff. As a defensive coach, do you kind of tip your hat and be like, hey,
No, everybody's mad. The defensive coaches are not happy, including the head coach, because he's a defensive coach too. But I'm happy to see the offense doing it, but they are doing some things. Now, we tried to throw the deep ball on the defense today, and the defense locked it down. So here's another example that if something's broke, we fix it right away. I'm telling you, this is one of the best coaching staffs I've ever been with. They're hardworking. We meet at 6 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's in the office about 5:30, and they don't leave the office till 10, 11 night in the spring. This is an excellent coaching staff and our analysts. We have some new analysts that are really helping us out with the coaching staff. We go over everything in detail. I think we have a fantastic staff.
How different is the offense from when you guys started the spring?
Well, we have more spread. We're more spread, more RPOs, more 3 wide receiver sets, more 4 wide receiver sets, and sometimes 5. And that's what we wanted. So I think you're looking at more of a spread offense than we've ever been.
You mentioned Miles had his best day on that scrimmage. What made it his best day?
Man, his completion ratio, I don't know what it was, but he threw some good balls. He ran the ball well on the options. He made some good throws, made some decisions. He was on fire.
How do you evaluate the running back room in a situation like this, where maybe you got some guys that are coming, but you also got some guys that need to step up?
Well, Clyde has had a really good spring. Clyde right now is our starting running back. Leonard Fournette has done some things. He can come in and play. Leonard's a good back. Chris Curry has done some things. Short yardage back is coming his way. But we really think that Tyron Davis and John Emery are going to come in and give us a big help.
Like some tweaking with Mike Divinity playing a little inside.
Yeah, Mike played Mike linebacker today, stack linebacker like he played in high school. I think he did very well. Mike's a good player for us. And we just want to have some depth there. We got some guys hurt and not playing. We want to see if we can do it.
Corey Savage moving to the defensive line, is that?
Yeah, he's been there for a while. You know, he's a good young man. It's more of, you know, we're very thin there. He gives us some depth, but he's done a good job for us.
Is that mostly the depth is what's got you guys shifting them around a little bit mostly?
What's that again?
The depth, is that mostly why most guys are shifting?
Yeah, no question. We got a lot of guys hurt. I mean, we got, 6, 7 guys on defense that are hurt. And possible starters. I'll tell you who had a really good day today was Apuaika. Real good day today. And Tyler Shelton probably had his best day on Saturday.
Ray Thornton, he was out today. What's his status?
He got an ankle, sprained his ankle day by day, but it was a non-contact injury. He was having a great spring, you know, but he's going to be out for a little while.
Now that we talk about your specialists, how do you evaluate that position, or maybe something else is?
Specialist?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we kicked field goals today. Avery Atkins kicked field goal for the first time. And he did pretty good. Connor did pretty good, you know, and obviously with our freshman kicker coming in, we think that he's going to be the guy who's got to earn a spot. But we're working hard on the return game. We got Derek Stingley returning punts. We scrimmaged it for the first time on Saturday. He did very well. We're going to scrimmage it again this Saturday. This is a big week for special teams. We're going to scrimmage every phase that we have on Saturday.
Is Avery's form the same kicking field goals as it is kicking off?
Not yet, but I'll tell you what, he did a lot better than I thought he was going to. His practice, yeah, I think he was like 3 for 5 today, so it was pretty good. You know.
What was his length?
I don't remember, but I think he made like a 35 for sure, 35-yard field goal.
Is he an option, or is that just kind of deep around?
What's that?
Is he an option, or is that just kind of deep around?
I think that we're trying. You know, he's such a good kicker. We're trying to develop him. He's a young kid. Maybe he can do it. He looked pretty good today.
How was Stingley looked in the return game?
Really good. Really good. He has a vision. He's hard to tackle. You know, he's a mild-mannered kid off the field, but he's got an edge to him on the field. He wants to make plays. He has vision. Obviously, what he did in high school was phenomenal. I think he's going to be a great returner.
Does it translate to patience? Is one thing I remember just in his game. That kind of we're trying to have the vision.
No question. Yeah, he sees green grass. He's going to go get it. And you know, I coached Reggie Bush at USC. I remember we were playing Oregon State, and I called Red. Red made right return. And Red wasn't open. He went left and scored a touchdown. So I called it again. He did it again. So much for players. So.
That free safety spot with Todd and Eric, and then what have you seen from Keenan Jones this season?
He's doing well. He's a good young man, very athletic. Just needs to learn the spot. You know, there's so many things that we're doing there. We're moving those guys up on the line of scrimmage. We play them in the post. We play in quarters. So there's a lot of learning to do, but he's doing well.
And Todd and Eric, they kind of dabbling around?
Yeah, no question. Both of them are really good. Both of them can play.
How have you seen Kerry Vincent balance his sports this spring?
He's doing well. You know, he's doing well. He's going to track when he needs to go to track. He's made several practices. Obviously, he's a difference when he's in there, especially at nickel. So I think track helps. You know, Kerry is competitive. He's in shape, and I don't think he's missed a beat.
You know, is he kind of the matchup guy at nickel?
Yeah.
Like how do you see him handle that, and what the expectations are?
Well, I think last year we gave him some confidence. He went in there last year and played very well in that position. So I think he's a very confident player going into this year. He's got experience.
You happy with those guys competing at right tackle? What are you seeing from them?
Yeah, I think that you know, one of the most improved guys on the team is Badora Traore. He's coming along. You know, we're putting him in right tackle. Austin has had a good spring. I think I would say the offensive line is the most improved group from the spring. I think those guys have done a phenomenal job. I think Coach Craig has done a great job with him. Mark Hudson, our offensive line analyst, we meet every morning at 6 o'clock. We go over everything in detail. His experience, along with Coach Craig, has really helped us.
And you had to challenge them, or you know, really put it to them that Foster's not here to bail you out on some of these things.
Say it again now.
If you had to challenge your offensive line, that
Yes.
Foster's maybe not there.
Yes, challenge them every day by getting tougher. And, you know, they've grown up. Sadiq is growing up. You know, Lord is very very mature. Damian Lewis is a good player. I think the left guard spot is still open. We're going to see if Chase Hine can come back. Adrian's done a good job, and maybe we get another player in there. I think that you look at the two young players that we got coming in the offensive line. I think both of them can help.
What about Ed Ingram?
It's a wait and see deal. Out of our hands, but obviously, if something happens, they can tell me he can come back on the team. We're going to let him.
Does he stay in shape? Is he doing?
Yeah, he comes around here. Can't work out with. We'll see him. He looks good. He's a great young man. He's going to class and staying eligible, and I guess he's going through the process.
How did Traylor improve?
Toughness, bending, playing lower. He's so tall. I think that obviously coming from junior college and going to the SEC is a little bit different. He's a tough kid, and he's done a good job.
To some degree, they're probably improving because they don't have to hold their blocks as long either.
Exactly. We're getting the ball. We'll get rid of the ball quick. And sometimes there's no edges. Sometimes there's only 5 to protect, but we're getting the ball quick. Our quarterback knows where he's going the ball. We're not holding it.
You like it?
I love it. I'm so fired up about offense. I just love the way Coach Ensminger and them guys are working. And I just see the offense that I finally want.
That was head football coach Ed Orgeron the other day from McLennan practice facility, LSU campus. Buddy, real treat, some crawfish here for you. And do those smell good?
I can't do a Roger Cador, but it sounds outstanding. Don't forget about our lunch special, crawfish étouffée on Fridays for all you practicing Catholics. JP, I'm going to hand this off. This was for Chris Powers, but he did not finish his, and I know the bread pudding, all the other delicacies over here at Scoreboards.
Scoreboards, great place to come catch all the games you ever want to see on TV and have some great food. Boiled seafood, smells outstanding. Can't wait to try one of those right after we're done. Buddy, before we go, got to talk some more gymnastics. What a great job Coach Dee Bro has done once again with these fantastic seniors, including one, Sarah Finnegan.
Sarah Finnegan locked up the SEC championship with a final 10 in her final floor. Here it is, folks. Sarah Finnegan with her 10 this past weekend in the Big Easy at the Smoothie King Center.
LSU needed an average of 9.9, I believe, their last 3 performers. It was on Sarah Finnegan to really lock up the whole championship. And two-time all-around SEC champion, Miss Sarah Finnegan. What a career she has had for Coach Dee Bro and the Tigers.
McKenna Kelly also had a 9.9. We were running out of town. The only problem you have when I come in here, I get a little long with some of my stuff, and so we don't have the tape, but it's been great working with you, and obviously we want everybody to come back to Scoreboards on a daily basis. Closed on Mondays, Tuesday through Sunday, open 11 a.m. Incredible food.
Great food. As I mentioned, lunch special every day. Come get something different every day for a great price. Tuesday, chicken fettuccine. It's outstanding if you haven't had it. Wednesday, there was good old red beans and rice. I'm a New Orleans guy, so I love the red beans and rice. Thursday, you got your hamburger steak. Also, steak night on Thursday. Friday, as you mentioned, crawfish étouffée, your boiled seafood. You got your crawfish right there, looking just the right shade of red and smelling outstanding.
Great job as always, JP. Appreciate the time, and we'll see you next time here with Tigers Roar, everybody.
Desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart.